Have you ever noticed how the first week feels different? You set the goal. You map it out. You feel ready. Then somewhere around day 28, something shifts. Not all at once. More like a slow fade. You still care about the outcome. You still want what you said you wanted. But the energy that carried you through week one, gone. And here's what makes it confusing. You can't point to a single moment when it left. Most people blame themselves when this happens. They think it means they're lazy, or that they lack discipline, or that maybe they never really wanted it in the first place. That explanation feels neat, clean, easy to understand, but it doesn't match what actually happens inside your experience. The real question isn't, what's wrong with me? It's, why does motivation predictably collapse right around the 30-day mark, even when the goal still matters? Here's what's really going on. Motivation isn't fuel. It's a signal. Your brain releases it when something feels new. New goals trigger a sense of possibility. That possibility feels like momentum, but your nervous system adapts quickly. Think about the last time you bought new shoes. First day, you notice them constantly. Week 2, you barely think about them. Week 4, they're just shoes. The novelty wore off, not because the shoes changed, because your brain stopped treating them as new. Motivation works the same way. Here's a moment you've probably lived. You decide to start running in the morning. First week, you wake up before the alarm. You feel purpose. Week 3, it's still manageable. Week 5, the alarm goes off and you think, why does this feel so much harder now? Nothing about the run changed. Your body didn't get weaker. The route didn't get longer. What changed was the emotional charge. The pattern looks like this. A new decision creates a sense of control. Control generates energy. Energy makes action feel easy. Then familiarity sets in. The brain stops rewarding the behavior. And suddenly, the same action requires more effort. That's the moment most people think they're failing. But here's what they miss. Your brain didn't stop working. It did exactly what it's designed to do. Motivation was never built to last forever. It's built to get you started, not to carry you through. Your brain conserves resources. Once a behavior becomes predictable, it stops giving you the emotional reward. It assumes the pattern is handled. Most people don't see this because they expect motivation to feel consistent. They think it should stay strong if the goal is important enough. But importance and motivation aren't the same system. This is where it gets specific. The reason motivation reliably crashes around day 30 isn't random. It's triggered by 3 distinct shifts that happen in sequence. Let me show you what they are. Trigger 1. The identity gap opens up. When you start something new, you're acting like a different version of yourself. You're doing things the old version didn't do. At first, that feels exciting. You're becoming someone. But by week 4, something uncomfortable happens. You're still doing the behavior, but you don't feel like that person yet. The action hasn't integrated into your sense of self. For example, you've been waking up at 5 a.m. for a month. But when someone asks what you're like, you don't say, I'm a morning person. You say, I've been trying to wake up early. You're still holding the behavior at arm's length. Your brain notices that gap, and gaps create friction. The behavior starts to feel like pretending, not because it's fake, but because your identity hasn't caught up yet. That discomfort is subtle. Most people don't name it. They just feel the weight. And when something feels heavy without a clear reason, your brain suggests quitting. Trigger 2. The emotional cost becomes visible. Early motivation works like anesthesia. It numbs the effort. In week 1, waking up early doesn't feel hard. You're riding the decision. But anesthesia wears off. By day 30, you start feeling the real cost. The lost sleep. The time you're giving up. The discomfort you were too excited to notice before. Your brain begins running a cost-benefit analysis. And now, the cost column has data. Here's what that looks like in real time. Week 1, I'm doing this. Week 4, is this actually worth it? That question isn't doubt. It's your brain asking for updated evidence. The problem is, most goals don't show visible results by day 30. You've been consistent, but the outcome isn't obvious yet. So your brain sees effort without proof. And effort without proof feels inefficient. That's when motivation pulls back. Not because you're weak, because your system is trying to protect resources. Trigger 3. the relief effect disappears. When you first commit to something, action feels like progress. Every workout is proof you're changing. Every early morning is evidence you're serious. That proof creates relief. Relief from uncertainty. Relief from the gap between who you were and who you want to be. But relief is an emotion, and emotions fade with repetition. By week 4, the same action doesn't create the same feeling. You're still doing the thing, but it no longer feels like winning. It just feels like routine. Routine is stable, but it's not emotionally rewarding. Here's the shift most people feel but don't name. Early on, showing up feels like success. Later, showing up feels like maintenance. And maintenance doesn't give your brain the same hit. So even though you're doing exactly what you planned, it stops feeling meaningful. That loss of meaning registers as lost motivation. Your brain isn't resisting the goal. It's mourning the emotional payoff. Now here's what matters. This isn't a problem to solve. It's a transition to notice. When motivation drops, most people try to force it back. They look for new inspiration. They replay the reasons they started. They try to feel the feeling again. That doesn't work, because the feeling isn't coming back. Not because you're broken, because the phase changed. Here's a different move. When you notice the weight, pause for 5 seconds. Don't judge it. Don't fix it. Just name it. Ask yourself, what part of this feels heavier right now? Not why it's hard. Not what you're doing wrong. Just, what's the weight? For example, this feels heavier because I'm not seeing results yet. Or, this feels heavier because I'm tired of managing it. Or, this feels heavier because it's not exciting anymore. That act of naming does something specific. It interrupts the automatic story your brain tells. The automatic story is, I'm losing motivation, which means I'm failing. The named story is, the emotional reward faded, and now I'm feeling the effort. One story makes you the problem. The other makes you the observer. When you're the observer, you stop fighting yourself. You're not trying to get motivation back. You're just noticing what's true right now. And that noticing creates space. Space to ask a different question. Do I still want the outcome, even without the feeling? If the answer is yes, you keep going. Not because you feel like it, because you decided to. If the answer is no, that's useful too. It means the goal wasn't aligned. And you can let it go without the story that you failed. Either way, you're not stuck. Here's what this looks like in practice. You're on day 32 of waking up early. The alarm goes off. You don't feel the spark. Old response. I've lost my motivation. I'm not disciplined enough. New response. Pause. Name it. This feels heavier because the novelty is gone. Then ask, do I still want to be someone who wakes up early? If yes, get up. Not because it feels good, because it's aligned. If no, adjust the goal. Not because you failed, because you're allowed to update your decisions. The difference is subtle, but it changes everything. Because now you're not waiting for motivation to return. You're recognizing that motivation already did its job. It got you started. It carried you through the setup phase. And now it's handing things off. To what? To structure. To identity. To the version of you that doesn't need a feeling to take action. That version doesn't show up on day 1. It shows up after motivation fades. Most people quit right before they meet that version. They think the fade means stop. But the fade means transition. Motivation fades because your brain adapts. Novelty wears off. Emotional rewards diminish. And the gap between action and identity becomes visible. None of that means you're doing it wrong. It means you're 30 days in. And 30 days in, the system changes. The question isn't how to stay motivated forever. It's whether you can recognize the moment when motivation steps back. And whether you're willing to keep moving when the feeling isn't there to carry you. That's the moment that separates people who start from people who continue. Not because they feel more, because they notice more. They notice the weight. They name it, and they choose anyway. Have you felt that shift, where the same action suddenly requires a different kind of effort? That's not failure. That's day 31. And what you do on day 31 matters more than what you felt on day 1.